This year, I've produced content covering whether or not Battlefield 5, Battlefield 1, and Battlefield 4 are likely to be worth your time in 2020, with the answer being deduced by yourself once presented with an overview of the pros and cons of each game and its current standing several years after release. And we're now very close to the end of 2020, but I've as yet totally skipped on doing the same for Battlefield Hardline, just like blazed past it between BF1 and 4 as if it didn't exist. So it's time to rectify that situation. A glaring omission for some, I did cover fairly recently how this game is somewhat of a black sheep of the Battlefield franchise and why it was so hated by so many for so long. Today we put that aside entirely and judge it for exactly what it is, as a standalone game. So is Battlefield Hardline worth your time in 2020? This video is brought to you by the Board of Awesome from the epic people that support the channel on Patreon, and the current goal for the channel is to hit 60k subscribers, currently sitting at 57k, and I get told all the time by people that they didn't even realize they weren't subscribed, with 76% of my views recently coming from people who aren't subscribed. So if you're new or want to see more, hitting that subscribe button would be fantastic. Thank you so much. Alright, Hardline is fun, plain and simple, at least for me. So for this video, please try to let go of any negative connotations you may have about the game and how people generally talk about it if you haven't played it before. It has some positive qualities for sure, but also some drawbacks. And you may notice in the kill feed that it's Danny on PC's name, not mine, as today I'm featuring his gameplay due to his much more extensive playing of the game, and I just like to show off some other people here and there. It's important to spread the love around a bit, so his channel link is in the description. Now, positives. Well, Hardline has some pretty solid gunplay. It's not the most advanced or inventive gun-based combat in existence within the FPS genre, but it for sure does the job. And I say that as someone who regularly just can't get into games that don't have solid gunplay, regardless of how much I might enjoy other aspects. Hardline doesn't have that issue, and there's a solid mix of weapons to choose from, chase, and unlock, with the potential to customize your build and play your way. This is still a Battlefield game after all, at least in that sense. So there's plenty of content for you to get your teeth into if you've never jumped onto this game before. Plus, obviously, a variety of vehicles to experience on multiple maps. Yeah, you got things to try out, as is the case for most games of this nature with their full content available. Whether the player base at the time felt there was a lot or a little content, starting from nothing with the base game and all these subsequent updates to enjoy, well, it puts you in a solid spot to immerse yourself for a while. And it is a decent sandbox game. I know that say Battlefield 5 gets criticized for this a lot, whereas people say Battlefield 4 was great for this. Battlefield Hardline for me I think is a good sandbox game. Maybe not the best, but there's lots of only in Battlefield moments and things you can try out for original plays and all that kind of stuff. Now in terms of user interface and in-game mechanics, there are quite a lot of similarities with Battlefield 4. The art design, visual cues and such are all fairly reminiscent of it. Some may say that's good, some may say that's lazy or bad, it's up to you. But it won't take too much for most to get comfortably acquainted with it. Now let me say here a big point, or rather a big splash of personal opinion I guess. It's not as if this is the best game ever. I don't expect anyone to start playing this and be utterly mind blown. But it's a good game if you don't expect too much, let go of all the hate it tends to get, and happen to enjoy the way the game plays. It's a fairly arcadey take on Battlefield in quite a lot of ways, and it can be quite punishing at times as well. But if you dive in just wanting to kill some time, shoot some people and have a laugh, it may well just tick those boxes. Especially if you can convince your friends to join you, as is fairly standard for Battlefield. Now it may be that you try it and you don't connect with it, and that's okay. Let me tell you specifically why for this game. You don't need to blow fat stacks on Hardline. No slamming down a load of your hard-earned money. It's a pretty old game, so you can pick it up for fairly cheap if you put in just like a little bit of effort to find a good deal. Or, a key point I've been making recently about several Battlefield games, it's now available as part of the EA Play subscription service, or indeed the Game Pass for Xbox and PC. And you can also find it on Steam and Origin and whatever. But yeah, if you have EA Play or the Game Pass, or plan on trying either of them, well then BF Hardline poses no risk to you. You can give it a go for no additional cost. Now be prepared that if you do try it, even though it says Battlefield, the setting or scenario for this game is actually cops and robbers, or cops and drug cartel. It's a bit of a homage to cops and robbers movies, and the game has a bit of a different tone to what some may be used to from a Battlefield game. But the mix of infantry and vehicle play is still present, even if the presentation and some of the inner workings are different. This setting does mean some other staple aspects of Battlefield have gone amiss, but again, this is why I recommend looking at Hardline as a game in its own right. My personal biggest issue with Hardline is actually the spawns, or spawn traps. I played, say, Team Deathmatch and had a pretty great time, but in some modes, man, the map design and spawn design is pretty lacking. I'm talking talking spawning up and having the enemy team camped around your spawn, staring in from multiple angles, and the only options you have are to sit still or push right into their bullets. There literally isn't an alternative. It wasn't a great experience when that happened, so keep in mind that from time to time, that may well be your reality as well. But the other, perhaps more relevant issue you might run into is player numbers. On Xbox, I didn't have many choices for games, at all. A handful at most. How that applies on PlayStation or PC, well, you can let me know in the comments if you like. I doubt it's going to be too much different, but yeah, don't expect a huge player base. This was one of the lesser successful Battlefield titles, and it's a fair few years since release now, so there are lobbies, but not many generally. And what about if you're on a next-gen console? Well, as far as I'm aware, there wasn't a prior update for the Series X or PlayStation 5 to take advantage of. Unlike with BF5 or BF1, where they got the Pro version or the Xbox One X version or whatever, so you could do 4K and all this kind of stuff, which the next-gen consoles can fully utilize. If you do happen to know otherwise, then feel free to let me know, but I can't find anything to indicate there was. That being said, on a next-gen console, so Xbox Series X/S or PS5, you can at least guarantee you'll get the most optimal/consistent performance where console play is concerned due to the superior hardware. And obviously when it comes to PC, it simply depends upon the capabilities of your build. So overall, I'd say Battlefield Hardline is a fun yet flawed game. A game that's beginning to gain more recognition than it got before, but one that still lacks a sizable player base. A game that perhaps didn't and doesn't hit the quintessential Battlefield mark for many, but as a standalone game, arguably has more negativity attached to it than it deserves. So, is this worth your time in 2020? Well, that's down to you and what you enjoy from an FPS. Let me know in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Hit the like and subscribe button, it would be appreciated. And all the links to my social media, including Twitch, Twitter, Discord, all of that can be found in the description and my pinned comment. And with that all said, I am GetGoodGuy, and I will see you next time. Laters. Alright, I got a bit of time at the end of this video, so I want to take the opportunity to say, if you haven't realized, in the past couple weeks or so, I've started streaming here on YouTube. It's been really fun. We've had variety, we've had Battlefield, Destiny, I'm going to keep doing other stuff. But the Battlefield streams have been really well supported, and then a few people tune in for the variety as well. I just want to say thank you so very much for all of that, and encourage you guys to come and have a look if you haven't before. Get involved with the community in that sense. Gives me a chance to talk to you, you talk to me, and yeah, hopefully provide you with stuff that you enjoy. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you around. I'm enjoying it way more than I actually imagined I would, and the reception I'm getting for the streams has been fantastic. People are having a really good time, so I'm very pleased to keep you entertained. And yeah, that's that. I look forward to seeing you again, and here's a little clip of something that happened on stream. Alright, goodbye.
I will kill this horse.
God damn, I love being me. It's
I
the
will
best.
kill this horse.
It's the best being me. It's the best. I promise you.
Everything looks crisp. It's just overall a better and more consistent experience on this generation of console due to the superior hardware. And I do recommend it personally. It's for sure made a difference for me on both BF1 and BF5. I find picking enemies out easier, my eyes are less strained,